efficiency of food production. Why biomass and energy decrease at each stage in a food chain. How a small area of land could be refined to provide food for the maximum number of people. Interpret diagrams showing transfer of biomass and energy along a food chain. How can we improve the efficiency of food production? Where does our protein come from? We need protein for growth, but meat is very expensive. Plant protein is much cheaper. There is flow of biomass in food chains, and there is loss of biomass at each and every stage. And every stage is less efficient as it gets higher up the food chain. Plants only trap about 0.03% of the sun's energy for photosynthesis. At each stage in a food chain, energy is lost into the atmosphere as heat via respiration. 50% of energy in the primary consumers that they take in is lost as feces. Animals that move to search for prey use much of the energy in muscles via respiration. Energy flow in food chains. Food at lower levels in the food chain are produced more efficiently in terms of the energy it has retained. So you can see here that at each stage, energy is lost into the atmosphere via respiration, and there is quite a lot of biomass that's lost each stage. Cereals or cows. Energy is wasted in food chain, and that energy wasted doesn't get into our food. So the higher the animal is in the food chain, the less efficiently the energy will be transferred. By using organisms for food low in the food chain, we improve the efficiency of food production. So as an example, in 4 hectares of crop, the land supports 58 more people if they get their protein from soya beans than if their protein came from beef. Intensive animal farming. How can energy losses from animals be limited? Evaluate the positive and negative effects of managing food production by factory farming. Factory farming. At factory farms, animals are kept indoors in large numbers. Meat, milk and eggs are usually the main products. The aim of factory farming is to produce most product at the lowest cost, but there are risks and benefits. Rearing animals in a free-range fashion means that there is inefficient food production. Many people like meat, and factory farming is a way of providing it efficiently. Although when you eat plant food, all the material and energy from the plant goes directly to the consumer. If the same food was fed to an animal and then the animal was eaten, not all of the original material and energy in the plant is passed on to the consumer. This is why rearing animals is not a very efficient way of producing food. Up to half the world's harvest is fed to farm animals. Energy flow through mammals and birds. Cattle are primary consumers. They eat grass and lots of energy is lost via respiration. Cattle are mammals which maintain a constant body temperature by generating heat in the body. Keeping the body temperature constant needs a lot of energy from food. Birds keep an even higher constant body temperature than mammals, so chickens use even more food to maintain their temperature. Free-range or battery chickens. Free-range chickens live outdoors most of the time and they feed on natural food. Many hens that produce eggs are kept in cages, which is called battery hen farming. Keeping hens in cages restricts their movement and reduces their energy losses. Broiler chickens are reared for meat, and most are kept in poultry sheds holding about 50,000 birds. They're not in cages, but they are very densely populated. Poultry sheds are usually windowless and are lit using artificial light. Keeping the hens in warm sheds reduces the energy from food that they need to keep warm. But half of the cereal fed to hens is not converted to meat or eggs. Factory farmed chickens, it takes about 3.8 kilograms of cereal to produce 2 kilograms of body mass. Rearing free-range chickens compared with factory farm chickens provides birds with better animal welfare, less disease and injury to birds, but free-range poultry products cost more to buy. Farmers of free-range poultry products spend less on sheds and cages, but they need more land to house the flocks of birds. Farming costs are reduced as there's no energy or bills for heating and lighting. Zero-grazing dairy system. So intensively farmed cows can produce 10 times the milk yields. Choosing certain varieties and feeding them high energy proteins such as grain or pellets helps them to produce a higher yield. Cattle confined to sheds stand on concrete floors covered in manure, and cattle can become lame, and a lot of the animal waste produced from the factory farms is a source of greenhouse gas emissions. Water can be polluted by runoff from manure storage, and food concentrates can be given to cattle that can also cause problems. So the BSE was linked to food pellets from diseased cattle and sheep. So there are many benefits, pros and cons to factory farming or free range, and it's a balance of what is the most important to that particular farmer.